my channel. So on this episode, we're gonna talk about African violets and like a little bit of care and what I've learned, what I did wrong, because I did a lot wrong as far as like watering and like types of pots. So these guys, as far as like care go, they're pretty easy once you get the ball rolling. What I noticed was they hate direct exposure to water or sunlight. So for example, you definitely don't want to get any water on these leaves, because any type of plant with fuzzy leaves like that, they'll almost immediately burn and you'll see black spots, and then eventually the leaf will die. So what I've been doing, well, when I first bought the plant, it was like in a plastic planter within another cup, and I watered from like underneath for the first couple of months. And then I moved them to a regular pot, and then I think it died immediately. So then I got another one, and then I started looking into different pots. And then I bought these guys, because I had two at the time. It's a ceramic clay pot, or pardon me, it's a glazed clay pot. And then you put the plant in the inside, and then you put water in the bottom, and you will leave it in there for a few hours, and then you'd empty out the bottom. Well, when I did that, I actually ruined my windowsill because I didn't have anything underneath it, and then I got water damage because it's so porous and the water just goes right through it. I also left the water in the entire time. So like the plant was fine, it just wasn't growing as to its potential. And then when I moved it to a different pot, it kind of got shocked because it wasn't getting enough water as it was used to. But as far as like pots, the best I would say is just like the regular terracottas, and try to get a bowl like what I have here. The second I put it in this bowl, it just started getting massive and the leaves just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Because the roots don't go down, they go like outward. And it doesn't need to be a deep bowl because that can cause it to get wet feet. And then the plant might get root rot. But let me bring this closer. And that's basically how you keep them happy. You just water underneath the leaves. The leaves are pretty stiff, so they are super easy to break. And then as long as you're not getting the leaves wet, as long as you're not breaking a bunch of them, it'll do fine. What I do is about enough to get the entire like bowl wet once a week. And then I'll fertilize from like the spring to the end of summer to help it grow a little bigger and get some more flowers. What you want to do, because these flowers will stay for a few weeks and they'll be super pretty, and then they'll start like dying off, which is totally normal. What you want to do when they die off completely and they're a little bit crispy, you want to deadhead them, which basically means you just pinch it. And I've been a little aggressive with that, and I just rip the whole thing out, which is fine because it'll just grow more eventually, but that takes longer most of the time. And if you see like, especially under here, under like a lot of these big leaves, you'll see some dead leaves, and that's totally fine. If I see any, like, let me see if I can pull one out. It's best to just pull them because you don't want anything dead that can cause fungus. But you can just pull them and then it'll be fine. As far as lighting goes, they like bright indirect light and almost like shade. What I do is I put them in the corner of my living room, so it has indirect light, but it's also it's like shielded from the direct sunlight that comes in. like in the afternoon sun. Because I used to put it closer where it would get more direct sunlight, but that just burned some of the leaves. Sometimes the leaves can actually turn like a white or like a light brown color because that's a little too much sunlight. And ever since I put it in the shade, like in the corner, it's been doing really well and growing. And you can see, I think you probably saw it earlier, there's actually like, I think it's just one. There's another one behind this, and I'm probably gonna move that to another bowl so that one can branch out and do a little bit better, because that one's kind of getting suffocated, which happens with basically any plant. If you have one that's like a dominant plant. But what I recommend is finding some sort of like porous, like terracotta bowl, or you can even take like a fruit bowl or like a ceramic bowl and drill a hole in the bottom, and do that, because it needs to have some way of drying out. They do like water and to get thoroughly watered, but you also need to make sure it dries out completely between waterings. Otherwise you're gonna get root rot and then it's just gonna die. Yeah, but I actually just repotted this into this bowl a year ago and it tripled in size. And I'm gonna, I don't know when, but probably in the next month I'm gonna repot this. I'm gonna leave this one, well, I'm gonna divide them rather. And I'm gonna put the small one in another pot like this, and then I'm gonna move this to center it off and then put some fresh soil. The best kind of soil is like cactus, or you can even mix in cactus soil with gardening soil and a little bit of perlite to make sure it's nice and airy and dry. You don't want like regular potting soil because that can absorb a little too much water. You can even get African violet soil, but like that usually is more expensive. And I'm pretty cheap, so I'll use whatever I can find on the cheaper side. But that's pretty much it. They're super easy. Totally recommend if you have a small apartment, because they get big, but they don't get like massive. And they'll grow to the size of the pot. So if you keep it in a smaller pot, it'll stay like that. It might not bloom as much, but it's still pretty hardy and will do well. And for this one, you know, if I repot it in something bigger, it's gonna get bigger to adjust to the pot size, and I'll have a lot more room. Because soon as I repotted it, it focused all of its energy on expanding, getting bigger leaves. It didn't have any flowers, probably for the rest of the summer, because I did like the middle of the summer. But that's fine because I saw that it was growing. So of course it's not gonna put any energy into flowers if it's just trying to grow to like a good size. And you can also tell if you see roots coming out of the bottom of the pot, then it's definitely time to upgrade. Or you might want to trim it back, something like that. What I like the most about this plant is it's non-toxic to animals. So if you have a cat or like a reptile, like in my case I have a tortoise, if she eats it, it's not a big deal. But honestly, she doesn't like these fuzzy leaves, but she'll go after a lot of those flowers, no problem. Well, I hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment below, and I'll see you next week. Bye!